guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
The OG Score North podcast, Mackey and Judd, and one of the OG hardcore Vikings fans of the original phone call edition of Vikings Vent Line, when Judd and I used to host a radio version of it on 1500 ESPN. Randy in Cottage Grove was one of the OG callers, maybe the most passionate Vikings fan we know. A man who has correctly nailed and predicted multiple Vikings draft picks with his intricate film study. He is here for stud stable number 1 of the 2025 season. But before we go there, let's talk about our friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Judd.
Yep. So guess what, folks? It's nice this week. I get that. But it's getting chilly. You had last week. Guess what is on the way? I hate to say it, but I will. Old man winter. And that
blizzards.
That you want. No, I didn't say that. Just going to be cold outside, okay? Let's keep the snow down.
A Calcutta Clipper.
Well, that might be correct, but HVACs, your furnace, are they tuned up? Are they set to go? MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they are going to be your reliable source to make sure that your home is ready for winter. Don't wait till it's late and you turn on the furnace and it coughs and it wheezes and it sounds very sick and you're like, I got to call MSP now. Do it ahead of the ball game. A tune-up is the way to go. Give them a call, 651-615-4292. Or check out their website, callmsp.com. Callmsp.com. Endorsed by Judd Zolgad, the sports dad, because they've been to my house and they've done great work.
Love it. All right, he is the most passionate Vikings fan we know, calling in for his first stud stable of the 2025 season, Randy in Cottage Grove.
Good to have you back, buddy.
Randy,
what's
going on?
Thank you. And, as we all saw it, this very easily could have gone the other way. It could have been a dud stable.
I mean, Declan and I were workshopping a bunch of really, really outlandish hot takes halfway through the third quarter. Admit it, did you have a dud stable workshopped and ready to unleash in the third quarter?
Yeah. How could I not? And I, me, I'm a positive guy, but there wasn't a lot to like. For the first, as they say, 30, 40 minutes to 45 minutes almost, We got that little field goal before the half to take the edge off. But, we don't like a game where we're not getting, as they say, those touchdown shots, and they weren't flowing and nothing was happening. And then it was the bar was dead. It was awful.
Well, so the people gave up at the bar even on the Vikings, huh?
Some guys left.
Wow.
That is, it is a work in a school night.
I screamed. I two different guys. To Todd and Ron. Ron, it's week 1. It's week 1, and he flipped me the bird and he walked out.
Hey,
and then
Randy, is this an establishment in Maplewood? Because I think one of your favorite establishments I just moved down the street from not too long ago. Is this the same place we're going at where we're doing touchdown shots and victory shots and that type of place?
I bop around.
You bop it, because I would like to hang out with Randy maybe before a game, or maybe Mackey and Judd wouldn't like that because I could come in inebriated by vent line. So I guess there's a
you got to be careful
because
if there's touchdown shots and they do score some points in the first half, then you could be in trouble. Yeah.
This particular establishment was a little bit closer to Cottage Grove, but I've watched games in Maplewood. I've watched games in Maple Grove.
How about Maple Plain?
Until they let me back in the stadium, I'll watch wherever they do the best deals.
Wait, you're not allowed back in the stadium?
You guys know that, Jeff.
I thought that kind of wore off.
I thought that was
over.
Well, I guess I haven't given it a shot. Maybe they forgot. Maybe it's time to go. Maybe it's time to go back. But I'm a professional. When we got 17 weeks of this thing, and each one is a big game, and that one there is that, boy, you really like to come out of there with a victory. You really do. And as they say, JJ McCartney, he's the real deal. At first I thought he got a noodle arm, He was staring down receivers, just throwing as hard as he could with his noodle arm. But he figured it out. And maybe he had a little halftime, got a little halftime pep talk. Maybe KOC took him in the back corner of the locker room and said, you don't be a bozo here. You're on national TV. You pissing down your leg. We used to have a guy here who did that. Sent him out to the Falcons. You don't want to be like him.
I don't think KO, and he did say, he give him encouragement and said, you're going to bring us back. I don't think KO would say, don't be a bozo. As much as I like that.
You're pissing down your leg. Stop being a bozo.
Stop
Doesn't
being a bozo.
feel like it's,
Now let's go out there.
That's what Kirko used to do. Every time at prime time, he'd turn into a little curl up in a ball. And we can't have that. We got to have a guy who's got this, as they say, the swagger. And he turned it on. He turned it on, and now who knows? The sky's the limit for this kid. If he starts to get ahead of steam and some confidence, and that line figures it out. And by the way, if it was a dud stable, who was going to be in there was Darisaw. You got to suit up.
Wow. He's still recovering.
This is very Randy.
He doesn't want to rush it coming back from a torn knee.
I'm not surprised.
You had a whole off season. You got all kinds of time, and then they're gonna say the turf is bad. Figure it out. When we have tourneys, and sometimes the wax pattern is a goofy. You don't not bowl. You don't just say this wax pattern's goofy. You get out there. You suck it up. And you've risked potentially slipping on the bowling alley hardwood if the wax pattern's off for the love of the game and your team. Is that kind of what you're? I have slipped. I did one of my ankles once, and my friend Dave did his hammy, and sometimes that happens. It's called competition.
Oh. You ever tear a hamstring off the bone bowling on a Thursday night? A little twilight bowling, league bowling. Dave carry you out. Yeah, it's tough.
Dave did. And you don't do Cosmic in tournaments. If they turn on the Cosmic in a tournament, that's amateur.
I love Cosmic.
Not in a tournament.
So Cosmic's more recreational, but if you're in a tournament, you don't do the Cosmic. Okay. By the way, Dave is a warrior. I've heard that.
If there's a league that does Cosmic for competitive play, like sanctioned play, get out of that league, because then you have no idea where the wax is taking the ball, and you can't even do it.
Yeah, you truly never know where it's going to go when a dud or stud stable with Randy comes on.
No.
Let's do it.
Life advice, bowling advice. All right, well, here it is. This is Randy in Cottage Grove, the Week 1 stud stable after a Vikings victory over the Chicago Bears. Randy, the floor is yours.
This is a real treat to be able to turn this one around, because like a lot of people, I thought we were going to have to do a dud stable, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to, other than Darisaw. So here we go. It's Week 1, and this is a stud stable. We're going to start things out with a guy who a lot of people said, why would we go ahead and trade for him? Why do we need this guy? We already got Aaron Jones. Well, I think you saw why last night. The guy's got a little thing they like to call a little bit of a burst, and that's Jordan Mason. Jordan, welcome to the best division in the NFL, first of all, and welcome to the best team in the best division in the NFL, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. And Jordan, you're going to be we got a little bit of a two-headed attack now, and I really like the way you were just cutting and juking. And Jordan Mason, you're a stud.
Oh,
amen.
That's right, dude. Those thighs of doom.
Adam Thielen, I was in the group that said we don't need this guy back. He's a stiff, he's long in the tooth. But you got a little moxie. You didn't show it on that ball you dropped. That would have been a helpful catch. And you knew it. You kind of look in the sky like, what am I doing? Well, you figured it out on that 2-point conversion. And something tells me in the next couple of weeks, while Jordan Addison deals with his infraction, by the way, who hasn't had one, but something tells me in the next couple of weeks, Adam Thielen's going to find that end zone for real, for 6, as they say. And Adam, welcome back to Purple. You're a stud.
We're like projecting stud status on Adam Thielen.
Who hasn't had one too, right?
Yeah,
Falling
seriously.
asleep, freeway, it happens.
Or you rev it up to pass someone on the freeway, and you accidentally get it up to about $150, and sorry,
And then you
Thought I
get
was
super
going
tired.
72 there.
My
Got to take a
dog was
little
at home.
siesta.
Okay, it was a whole thing.
I'd like to hand this one out to a coach who boy, a lot of us thought if we have a good year, he might be gone. He might be out of here. Well, I'm pretty glad he's not, because his defense finally kind of came to life. They let Caleb Williams go ahead and goof around for a little bit in that first half, but then they buckled down. They buckled down, and it's sort of next man up, It's sort of next man up. And you got to hand it to Brian Flores. Brian, you keep him guessing. You keep him moving. How many times right before the snap did the whole thing just kind of click and switch, and people are running all over the place? And they did that little pick six. They did that as a tribute to you. When they pick six, McCartney, that was them saying, we love your defense, Brian. We're going to do a play just like you would do. And you'll get some. You're going to get some pick sixes. I think Ginkel's going to get one. But right now, this is your day, Brian Flores. And you kept us in that game, and your defense, and you are studs.
Who's the quarterback again, Randy?
Kevin O'Connor. Kevin, I really love what you did.
Paying no attention to you.
My bad.
Excuse me.
Sorry,
I really
keep,
love.
go ahead. Keep going.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yeah, but I really love what you did when you were telling at the end of the game and say, "Bring that ball out, bring it out, bring it out, bring it out." That's what they call the little things, the little details. A lot of coaches overlook that. You think Zim would have done that? Zim couldn't even see. Okay,
It's like you're right.
Literally.
Literally.
you were saying, bring that ball out, bring the ball out. That right there, that ball us about 40 seconds. That's the difference between them being able to get down there and take a chance at a game tying field goal, between that and the clock running out on the Bears. So bravo, KOC, and bravo for keeping your young quarterback's head in the game. Kevin O'Connell, you're a stud.
Oh,
And finally,
wow.
this is a kid who, as everyone said, grew up just about a dozen miles away from Soldier Field. Just about a dozen miles away. He went to a little place called Nazareth High School. And you know what he did there? He was a winner. Do you know what he did when he went to the academy for Florida? He was a winner. Do you know what he did when he went to Michigan? He was a winner. And you know what he did last night? His first game of the NFL.
Oh, boy.
It's okay.
And it looked bad. A lot of people said he didn't have what it takes. All the national guys were saying, might want to call Michigan, ask if you can still trade him back in.
Oh, man.
This kid can't throw. He's got a noodle.
This is
He found it. He found it in a big way. And he got the victory. And all he does is win. He's a winner. J.J. McCartney, welcome to Minnesota. You're a stud.
Wow. Is he
No.
he hung up?
Yeah.
He hung up.
Yeah.
He's gone.
I could feel it coming. I could feel that coming. The build up.
Listen, man, we all our hearts all fluttered a little bit
Yeah,
when
I'd say.
JJ with the football war paint pops up after scoring that rushing touchdown. The primal scream into the night at Soldier Field, putting the team on his
O'Connell
back,
doing the same thing.
turning to the camera,
Yes.
and to his coaching staff.
Yes.
We all got a little chill down the back of our spine.
Yeah, you gotta admit you're right.
Wow, so that's quite the stud stable there. JJ McCartney with the
Not to be confused with Jesse McCartney, the former teeny bop pop star from 20 years ago. I wanted to ask Randy
beautiful
if he,
soul.
yeah,
you know?
maybe he dabbled in some Jesse McCartney back in the day.
Do
but
we try to correct him at some point or just let it slide?
I mean, I'll let you.
I mean,
handle
I
that. feel
tried
like he
it-
doesn't. Once he
your
gets into
call.
his zone, I
Yeah.
feel like I don't know if he can't hear us or if he just doesn't.
I also think he called
Doesn't
him
want
Kevin
to.
O'Connor at one point, but then he got O'Connell right.
Well, Kevin O'Connor is a basketball analyst for
Yeah.
Yahoo, formerly of
Yeah.
Friend
The
of the
Ringer, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Kevin O. Timberwolves.
And in defense of Randy there, too, I believe at one point Aikman called Kevin O'Connell something else himself on the telecast last night. He
What
got
did he
the
call
last
him?
name wrong. Called him Kevin something else.
Well,
I
after
forget.
watching that Dallas Cowboys Netflix series, I'm surprised old Troy even still functions in 2025.
Oh, with the concussions?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, I think he and Steve Young both retired because of concussions.
Yeah.
They would have kept playing.
Yep. So, well, there's your stud stable from our guy. Randy Vikes 69 on Twitter, by the way. Randy Vikes 69.
I'm glad it's back.
So before we get into a round of statements here on Mackey and Judd, here's a statement. Green Mill Pizza is awesome and great for game day and game night. Like, well, it could be like board game night or it could be football game night. There's different ways to deploy Green Mill Pizza for a game night, but that iconic Green Mill restaurant brand that Minnesotans have known for years, if not decades, now available, that tavern-style pizza in your freezer, from your freezer to your oven to your belly. You also can get access to soft breadsticks and sauces in your local grocer by Green Mill. Green Mill Restaurant Pizza, a Minnesota favorite, now in your freezer. Learn more at greenmillfoods.com. Shout out to Underdog. Underdog, people rocking it on Underdog in week 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I love seeing our Score North listeners win some big dough with our friends at Underdog. In fact, there was a little, what did I get? I got a notification during Purple Daily. Score up to a 99% discount. So maybe that might be in your lobby right now if you're a current user. And if you're a new user, all you got to do, download the Underdog app on Apple or on the Google Play Store. Sign up with promo code SCORE, SKOR, play $5 and get $50 in bonus funds, riding higher or lower. So go down the Underdog app. Send me all those big wins. Love to see it. Go down the Underdog app, promo code SCORE.
Shout out to Federated Insurance as well. So in addition to helping business owners, small and medium-sized business owners over 120 years with protection, it's also a great place to work. Maybe a great place to start your career or pivot your career. Pivot! Federated hires special, driven people who fit the Federated culture, people who value and exhibit integrity, teamwork, respect, and equity. They also hire a lot of former college athletes. So if these things describe you, if you're interested in finding out more about Federated's workplace culture and opportunities, visit federatedinsurance.com/careers. That's federatedinsurance.com/careers. All right, dudes. Statements. Let's do a round of statements here on this Tuesday, Mackey and Judd. Judd, you want the first one? Dex?
Sure. And I'll keep it at least somewhat Vikings themed by saying my statement is this. It's 2025, and you are telling me that football games are still being played on the surface that was at Soldier Field last night.
It's dumb.
We have the days of AstroTurf. You remember that hard as concrete surface that caused a lot of problems? Are long gone. We have innovative new turf designs, okay, which a lot of stadiums use. So these incorporate actual grass with what I think is woven turf. Like there are a bunch of designs here. And these jokesters, 2025, billion dollar league, which by the way, you want to keep especially your key ones, your best players healthy, right? And you are having them go play on a surface that, because it had like 5 concerts in 10 days, had to be resodded, and then that didn't take, so they're literally resodding before the game. We laugh about the fact that when I was a kid, they used to play NFL games on baseball fields. So you would be like literally running through the infield, and then you'd be back on the grass. But think about this. Think about the billions of dollars invested. Think about the TV revenue that comes in. And the Chicago Bears are playing on that surface, and it's like accepted. Give me a break.
It is so dumb. It's a thing every single year at that stadium. They used to have the AstroTurf back in like the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, which was awful at that time, but like they have now improved it a lot.
I think that, it's funny though, if you polled players, would you rather play on that random ass turf that's sliding around, bad footing, or old school AstroTurf in Chicago?
School, yeah.
I think current players would vote for old school AstroTurf because at least I know what I'm getting footing wise, right?
You're right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna tear my
but
knee as
Pittsburgh
easily.
has problems too. Why does any stadium have problems still?
I don't know, man. It's you'd think, because didn't the league bring in like $24 billion in revenue last year? Yeah. We can't figure out at these 3 rogue stadiums. And it's not like you're in Florida where it's raining all the time and you have to figure out kind of sloppy conditions. It's Chicago, man. I mean, in the wintertime it's snowing, but maybe it's time with their new stadium. I don't know what the details are of the proposed designs, but maybe it is time for like some tech turf, indoor roof. I know that this will give you a chance to play some real offense too if you actually have like an indoor controlled stadium. Maybe you get a 4,000-yard passer for the first time.
That struck me as just so incredibly stupid last night.
Dex, give us a statement.
Yeah. My statement is talk your bleep, Kevin O'Connell. So this dropped during our hottest takes recording at The Athletic. So Mike Silver, it sounds like, kind of got a little bit of extra access after the game to Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy after last night's win in Chicago. And Silver, who was kind of also not probing at the idea of Aaron Rodgers, but The Athletic obviously had a bunch of reporting about Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns, obviously, on Sunday. And even in this little blurb here that Mike writes up, he says, the previous afternoon, a certain 41-year-old quarterback in his first game with the Pittsburgh Steelers had thrown for 4 touchdowns and no interceptions while putting out a dramatic comeback victory over the organization that had just discarded him. And for Vikings fans, that served as a tantalizing taste of what might have been. O'Connell could do the math. The quarterback whisperer was about to need a really good set of noise-canceling headphones. This was also now O'Connell's quote to Silver after the game in his locker room. Look, I understand everybody is going to be waiting for the aha moment, and rightfully so, regarding, obviously, J.J. McCarthy. I understand the business we're in, and I'm sure you had the story written.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, good for him. Because Silver, in my opinion, was the main guy. Because he and
Rodgers
Aaron are both Cowboys.
Yeah.
Was the main guy pushing that. So good for Kevin O'Connell. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but it is. I brought this up on Purple Daily. Like they could have had 1 year of Aaron Rodgers with Kevin O'Connell, and I know again fans rejected it, local media rejected it. We ultimately rejected it on Purple Daily and said just move on with the next era.
Yep.
But if Rodgers has a great season in Pittsburgh and J.J. McCarthy is, let's say he sputters more than he thrives with a really good roster and you miss the playoffs, it is going to remain a comparison that you can poke at for the next 4 months. So it's a bar. Like whatever the bar is that Aaron Rodgers sets, it would be nice to see J.J. McCarthy surpass it as quickly as possible so that it's a non-conversation. But Rodgers wanted to play for the Vikings. He wanted to finish the Brett Favre challenge, the Brett Favre career challenge. And
he did.
Maybe finish what Brett Favre couldn't.
So yeah, and then there's some other quotes like Metellus talked, McCarthy also talked, but at the end of this article, Silver writes, so yes, the quote aha moment is lurking. That's life in the NFL, and it's life O'Connell chose. Yet thanks to McCarthy's tantalizing transformation Monday night, the story, for now, is a redemptive one. So
yeah, for now.
But you can go check it out if you want to read.
He drives me crazy. That's so overwrought.
Silver.
Yeah.
I like Mike, but you know who Mike likes?
Mike.
Which is fine. I like Declan, and I'm Declan.
Not like Mike.
I don't know if
Mike likes Mike.
Yeah.
I've hung out with Mike once in a couple of times. You do not come close to being Mike.
Oh, okay.
I've been around him a couple of times. I like him, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you like yourself. You're not necessarily enamored with yourself, Declan.
Or are you? How enamored with yourself are you?
That's my life.
How narcissistic are you?
Yeah.
You can tell.
Question. I have a question more than a statement here for you guys off the Kevin O'Connell thing. So I was on. We played a clip from our friends at 312 Sports, Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola, their new Forward Progress podcast and YouTube channel, Bears centric plus Dan Bernstein unfiltered. And I joined their podcast over the weekend to preview Vikings Bears. And Dan Bernstein asked me, what specifically, we're sitting here on the outside trying to find a coach quarterback combination for years and decades that works in Chicago. So we're curious, what specifically does Kevin O'Connell do to maximize quarterbacks, to get the most out of Darnold, Cousins with fourth quarter comebacks, J.J. McCarthy going forward? And my answer was, and it's hard to know exactly because we're not in the meetings. We're not like there behind the scenes for all the coaching points. But I said, like, as broadly as I can put it, he gives quarterbacks the answers to the test before the ball is snapped. Like, quarterbacks know 75 to 80% where the ball should be going, or what based on what the defense is showing me here, then I'm going to move pretty quickly to my second read, etc. How would you guys answer that question to like an outside football stranger poking around saying, what is it that Kevin O'Connell does to be so great at elevating and connecting with quarterbacks?
Well, first of all, he cares. Like it is, and I'm not overstating this, it is sort of his life's work. Like, he loves this. And he loves football, but it starts with that position. And what makes him special, in my opinion, is he has been on every side of this. He was a hotshot prospect, young kid. He was a good college QB. He then got drafted in the 3rd round. Like, Sam Darnold came here as a high draft pick who was seen as a complete bust, right? And there's a lot of coaches that can try to work with you, but they don't understand what you've been through.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin O'Connell's a 3rd round pick who completely busted. Now, I think he would argue it was not all of his fault, but nonetheless, he's seen that. So, like, Darnold had nothing where O'Connell's like, I don't know what you're going through. He knew. And I mean, there's no question. O'Connell can deny it. It bothers him to this day. Like, the way that he was handled by people in this league, the way that it played out, it bothers him. And he's taken that, though, and like a good quarterback from a mental standpoint does, he's turned it into a positive, which is, there's no quarterback Kevin O'Connell can be thrown that he can't identify with, which to me is huge. Because you can say, well, I get what you're going through, Sam, and here's what we're going to do. And Sam's going to be sort of skeptical. Well, with Kevin O'Connell, there's no skeptical there. And with McCarthy, hotshot young kid. But O'Connell was sort of there too at one time. So he gets it. And I think that's the most important thing. But I am not overstating this in saying that working with quarterbacks in particular at this level is Kevin O'Connell, in his mind, it's his calling.
Yeah. He speaks, even like some of the moments that we saw and didn't see last night, the stuff we didn't see, and we just have to take everyone's word for it. It's halftime. You're getting drubbed. You haven't moved the ball yet in 30 minutes of timed football.
Yep.
And Kevin is staring at J.J. McCarthy in the locker room and saying, you're going to lead us back and we're going to win this game. And even if he only believes like 50% of that, to be able to like empower him in that moment so that he feels more comfortable, and then he's going to go forward. But then even like after that's one of the worst pick sixes you're going to see all year. It was just a terrible pass, bad read. The cornerback is taking away the inside throw there, and he just did not see it. And he goes over to the sidelines, and a lot of coaches would be irate. They would be their visceral reaction would bleed over into the interaction with the quarterback, and they would let the quarterback have it, call him an idiot, and cast him aside, right? Kevin basically pulls JJ aside. You could kind of read his lips. He said, hey, on that type of throw, he kind of explains, like, you got to look for this, but we're okay. He said, we're okay. We're okay. It's like, whoa. How many of the 32 current NFL head coaches and then the 32 coordinators would see that pick six and then have a super calm, reasonable reaction that helps the quarterback for the rest of the game versus like the visceral, annoyed reaction of, get the hell out of my sight. What are you doing? You just ruined this game for us.
I think what's interesting, though, about that play, because if you remember, he's yelling at the line of scrimmage, which he yelled multiple times, McCarthy, we got to go, we got to go, we got to go. And there was probably a handful of plays during the first half and up to that point where it looked like either McCarthy and the offense were still trying to get on the same page, the verbiage, all that fun stuff that quarterbacks have to do. And I kind of was like, man, is this guy... I thought McCarthy would be a good process here. Is this just environment? Is it jitters? I'm sure it was a combination of a lot of those things. Yeah. But I was under the impression of like, dude, just call the timeout, burn it. I know that stinks. You don't want to do it. But then you throw the pick six. To answer Phil's question, though, of what does Kevin O'Connell do, I think it answered it right there of, all right, you had a boneheaded play, everything was mismanaged. You could have probably maybe handled this a little bit differently and better, but it's not going to shipwreck us. We're still completely in this game.
And O'Connell also knew that O'Connell was partially at fault. Like his play calls come in too late at times. It's just a fact. Like if it was last night was the first time that we'd ever seen that, then it's like, yeah, it's a rookie quarterback or a first-year starter. I get it. But like O'Connell's smart enough and he is a good enough coach to own what he does wrong. Yeah. But O'Connell to me is also a fascinating study of he has the it factor mentally that a star quarterback has. Like watch how he operates at the podium with the media, on the sideline. He has that it factor. He lacked it, I think, physically, but it can be used. And like by channeling himself into developing quarterbacks, Kevin O'Connell at the end of the day, I'll tell you this, and I think this is where McCarthy's a great fit for him. Kevin O'Connell at the end of the day was a lot more mentally wired to be a quarterback than Kirk Cousins or Darnold.
Wow. Yeah.
I think he's a lot more mentally. I think he and JJ share that trait, which is why you can tell a guy in a hopeless situation at halftime that you're going to come back and win the game. And 95% of the population like us says, yeah, you don't believe that. No, These guys do. That's what they do believe this stuff.
Yeah, a lot of coaches would have thought the game is over after that pick six, even though but so to like be able to put some space between this terrible thing that happened that you are pissed about.
Yep.
Take a breath, put some space between it, and then go right into logical thinking of, okay, there's still a lot of time left, probably 3 or 4 possessions. We're only down by 11. Our defense is cruising still. Yep. And so let me give him a message that will help him the rest of the game versus the message that's going to make me feel good to get pissed and then we wind up losing the game. It is, to your point about like Kevin having the mentality of a quarterback. It's like the movie Avatar. He like gets into his pod and he takes control of like these, this other creature that's much more physically imposing and advanced than he is, and he gets to kind of control it. So I don't know. It's just what a fun last couple days, man. Just the anticipation, having to wait till Monday night, and then Ventline last night was wild. The hottest takes. So just an awesome, fun start to the season.
And that, by the way, is a great question from Dan Bernstein. I hope you gave him the great question point.
It is. You know what's funny? So he asked me, and then I gave him kind of a higher level answer, like a more broad 30,000-foot answer. And he, like a pro, circled right back to it and said, okay, but I want to know like specifically, what specifically does he do? And I was like, I feel you. You.
Damn,
he gives the answers to the test. He operates with a calm demeanor.
That's a pro right there.
It is, man. It's our guy. All right, dudes. That's a wrap here on the OG Score North podcast. Mackey and Judd. We've got Write That Down predictions on this podcast and on Purple Daily tomorrow. O-line. So also a few other things. Trenches. Boone and I are going to record late on this Tuesday night a film breakdown of J.J. McCarthy's first regular season performance. And then O-line committee is going to do a dive into the Bears Vikings game through the prism of dumb football questions. So check that out. If Purple Daily and Mackey and Judd weren't enough for your football fix, O-line committee can also help scratch that. And Before I Die on the Purple Daily feed with Jason Harmon on about 4 hours of sleep maximum from Chicago with Leighton
he's fine.
and with
He's
Jesse.
young. He's young. He's thriving.
Got 2 kids. I mean,
he does have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's but that should be a fun show as well. So we got your Vikings content covered here early in the week and every day. Purple Daily and Mackey and Judd, the OG Score North pod.